Busy.
Bit weird though, isn't it? He's not that busy. He's posting online an awful lot. Why is he not welcomed Robert Jenrick joining?
I would suggest you've got an overactive research team who really should have better things to do.
Well, who knows about these things behind the scenes? Early this evening, I spoke to the Reform UK's deputy leader, Richard Tice. I began by asking him, did Robert Jenrick jump or was he pushed?
In terms of the journey, he was pretty much there, as I understand. It's obviously a very difficult thing when you've been in a party, of any party, since the age of 16 for a number of decades. So it's a big decision, but it's welcome. He's done the right thing. It's only Reform that can take on and beat Labour at the next general election.
It's another Conservative in Reform UK ranks. Has everyone in the party welcomed his arrival?
Yes, very much so. People who believe in our principles and values from any party or no party, people understand that he has a strong support base and that he is considered strong on issues that we fundamentally believe in.
This interview was supposed to be a tough examination of Reform UK's latest high-profile recruit, but what it actually revealed was something very different.
Around stopping the boats, about controlling immigration, about scrapping net stupid zero, about safer streets, law and order, and about how to get the public finances under control so that we can make people better off.
You say everyone's welcomed it. Azir Youssef, the head of policy for Reform UK, welcomes it. He's been posting online an awful lot in the last 24 hours. He's posted nothing about Robert Jenrick that I could see. He did post when Nadeem Zahawi joined earlier this week. They had a high-profile spat in the past. He wasn't at the big unveiling of Robert Jenrick. Is there some tension there?
Oh, look, we're a team, we're united under Nigel's leadership, and look, we're all busy.
Bit weird though, isn't it? He's not that busy. He's posting online an awful lot. Why is he not welcomed Robert Jenrick joining?
I would suggest you've got an overactive research team who really should have better things to do.
Well, I looked at it actually myself, Richard.
Look, at the end of the day, we're focused on policies, on how to continue to lead in the polls, and our campaign strategy for the May elections, where we're allowed to have them, because of course Labour are frit, they're running scared, they're cancelling elections up and down the country. Over 4 million people, it looks like, are going to be denied. Oh, and by the way, including some Conservative councils.
Instead of focusing on the major political questions facing Britain, the interviewer appeared far more interested in internal party gossip, social media posts, and speculation about personal relationships within Reform UK.
As well, who are also running scared of Reform.
You couldn't be more delighted about welcoming in someone who your own leader said was a fraud, said don't believe a word he says. You said Robert Jenrick doesn't get it. Robert Jenrick said, I want to put Reform out of business. I want to send Nigel Farage back to retirement.
Look, the reality is we believe in the same principles and values. Of course, it's a competitive world in the world of politics. Actually, competition is a good thing. We believe in competition. It makes everybody perform better. And yes, sometimes there's a bit of rough and tumble between parties. Look, that's the nature of it. But fundamentally, we believe in the same principles and values. We debate policy. We come to what we think are the right decisions. We put those to the people. And guess what? We're leading in some 200 national polls by give or take 9 or 10%. We must be doing something right.
What you've done in the last few months is invite in some of the people most responsible for the Conservative governments since 2019, starting with Boris Johnson and onwards. Robert Jenrick was in the Treasury under Theresa May. He was at Housing under Boris Johnson. He was at Health under Liz Truss. He was Immigration on Rishi Sunak. You've got Nadeem Zahawi, who was at Treasury, Education, Covid in Business. Nadine Dorries was at Culture. David Jones was at Wales. Andrea Jenkins was in the Whip's office in Education.
And do you know what that does?
Jake Berry was at Community and Local Government. Almost every single department that you think has failed since 2019, you've brought the people responsible into Reform UK.
Robert Jenrick is the only cabinet minister who resigned on a matter of principle from the Conservative government. That makes him uniquely qualified to explain where things went.
For many viewers, that approach highlighted exactly why trust in parts of the mainstream media continues to decline.
And so badly wrong on both legal and illegal immigration, which is to the fury of tens of millions of British people. And sure, what the list you've just read out there shows the whole point about experience. And yes, people make mistakes and they They learn from that, they put their hands up, they say, I got this right, I got this wrong, we've learned from what we've got wrong, and we won't do it again.
But what is it about Robert Jenrick? He saw huge, while he was immigration minister, Robert Jenrick, when he was immigration minister, saw huge rises in people coming in small boats.
And he resigned as immigration minister. So the whole point.
Because he threw up his hands in the air and said, I can't do anything about it. So why do you think, that's just the man for the job? He oversaw a mess and then he walked away from it. Why do you think that that's the sort of man that you want in your team?
Doesn't that show integrity and principle that actually he left?
Well, no, it shows that he can't do anything about a massive problem.
He realised that his bosses and his colleagues in cabinet were not prepared to do what needed to be done, which is what the British people voted for. I think that shows actually strength and principle. And look, at the end of the day, we've got the situation as we have. We've got a growing team. We've got, I think we're almost the largest, or are the largest party in terms of members, and we are by far and away the largest party in the polls. That shows people want us to lead the next government, but of course they need a strong team, and Robert is a very welcome asset to that strong team.
More to come? Has your phone been ringing off the hook in the last 24 hours?
I'm not going to give a running commentary on my phone calls, but my phone's always busy.
We're told to expect a major Labour figure next week. Is that right?
Well, you'll have to be patient, wait and see, but yes, there will be a significant event early next week.
Is it a Labour MP, though? Because that's the big prize for you, isn't it? To show that Reform UK isn't just a retirement
home. Patience is a virtue. You can look forward to it all weekend. Patience is a virtue.
But if it's not an MP, doesn't that just reinforce the criticism of your opponents? I'm not going to give you
any more clues, cunning tips, apart from that. Just look forward to next week.
Richard Tice, Deputy Leader of Reform UK. Thanks for joining us on Newsnight tonight.
Thank you.
From the very beginning, Richard Tice looked prepared for the line of questioning. The interviewer repeatedly attempted to frame Robert Jenrick's move to Reform UK as controversial, pointing to past disagreements and previous criticism exchanged between Jenrick and Reform figures. But Tice's response remained consistent throughout. His argument was simple. Politics is about principles, policies, and the future direction of the country, not old political rivalries. What stood out was how often the conversation returned to issues that many voters actually care about. Tice repeatedly emphasized immigration, public finances, law and order, and economic growth. Whether viewers agree with Reform UK's policies or not, those are subjects that dominate public debate across the country. Yet every time the discussion moved toward policy, the interviewer seemed eager to pull it back toward questions about personalities and internal tensions. The exchange over Zia Yusuf was perhaps the clearest example. The interviewer appeared determined to create a story out of social media activity, suggesting that because a particular post had not been made, there must be division behind the scenes. Tice dismissed the suggestion and moved on quickly. To many people watching, it likely felt like a perfect example of political journalism becoming distracted by online drama rather than addressing the challenges facing the country. The bigger issue, however, is what Robert Jenrick's arrival actually means. Critics argue that Reform UK is increasingly filled with former Conservatives who were part of governments that many voters believe failed to deliver on key promises. That is a legitimate criticism and one that Reform will continue to face. After all, voters may reasonably ask why politicians who served in previous administrations should now be trusted to deliver different results. Tice's answer was that experience matters and that people can learn from mistakes. He presented Jenrick's resignation from government as evidence of principle rather than failure. According to that argument, Jenrick recognized that existing policies were not working and chose to leave rather than defend decisions he disagreed with. Supporters see that as integrity. Critics see it as too little, too late. Either way, it is a debate that goes far beyond party politics and speaks to a wider question about accountability in public life. Another interesting moment came when the discussion turned to polling. Tice repeatedly pointed to Reform UK's growing support and claimed that the party is increasingly being viewed as a serious alternative to both Labour and the Conservatives. Polls can change quickly, but there is no denying that Reform has transformed from a fringe movement into a significant political force. That reality alone explains why media attention on the party has increased dramatically over recent months. Perhaps the most intriguing part of the interview came near the end when Tice hinted at another significant political figure potentially joining Reform UK. He carefully avoided giving details, but his confidence suggested that discussions may already be taking place behind closed doors. If another high-profile defection occurs, particularly from Labour, it would represent a major political story and further fuel speculation that Britain's traditional party loyalties are beginning to break down. What makes these developments particularly important is the broader political context. Both major parties are facing criticism from different directions. Labour is under pressure over economic performance, public services, and immigration. The Conservatives continue to struggle with questions about their record in government and their future identity. In that environment, Reform UK sees an opportunity to position itself as the primary challenger to the political establishment. The final commentary in the clip was clearly supportive of Reform UK and highly critical of the BBC. Some viewers will agree with that assessment, while others will see it as partisan. However, there is one point that cannot easily be dismissed. Public frustration with political reporting often grows when interviews appear more focused on political theatre than on policy substance. Voters dealing with rising costs, concerns about public services, and questions over immigration may feel that discussions about social media posts and internal party gossip are far removed from their everyday concerns. Ultimately, this interview may not be remembered for any dramatic revelation. Instead, it highlighted a growing divide between what many political journalists choose to focus on and what many voters believe matters most. Richard Tice understood that dynamic and used it to his advantage throughout the conversation. Whether that strategy continues to benefit Reform UK remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the party is no longer being treated as a political sideshow. It is increasingly being treated as a genuine force in British politics, and that alone marks a significant shift in the political landscape.